We all know that Indians are more prone for heart attacks and strokes. And these are the studies where Indian expatriates gone abroad have more propensity to develop heart disease than their compatriots, whether you go to US, California, Japan, anywhere. And 15 years back or 20 years back, I used to show this slide on left side of the panel that we are facing an epidemic which is larger than plague and polio, and it is a time bomb which is going to explode. And really, down the line, 20 years, the bomb has exploded. So CVT is number one leading cause of death, and the tragedy is that 12 to 16% of CAD patients are below age of 40 years. And there are conventional and risk factors like diabetes, lipids, hypertension, thrombotic states, behavioral disorders, inflammatory conditions, demography, genetics, so on and so forth. Higher the risk score means more are the risk factor, more serious are the risk factor, more propensity to develop the disease. But 60% of those who develop coronary events have only one or even none of traditional risk factors. More than half have either normal or mildly increased lipid values. We see this in our day-to-day practice. So what are the prerequisites for atherosclerosis, as there is Virchow's trial for deep vein thrombosis? There are certain prerequisites for arterial atherosclerosis also. They are: one, disproportionate lipid levels; second, altered endothelial lining, and this occurs in diabetes due to glycation of the basement membrane, or smokers due to toxic elements in the smoke, or third, in hypertension due to shear stress on the vessel wall. And the third part, which was a neglected part, perhaps we cannot target and intercept this part during these 20 years, is inflammatory milieu. And this is not a new thing. Rudolf Virchow has thought of this a century ago, that atherosclerosis is a chronic inflammation induced by cholesterol. And cognizance of this has been taken in Time magazine. And these all rheumatological disorders, SLE or rheumatoid arthritis, or skin disorders like psoriasis, have a direct relation with the atherosclerosis due to increased C-reactive proteins and other cytokines in the blood. Let's briefly see about the pathophysiology of atherosclerotic plaque. We have here, there is intima, then there is inner elastic lamina, media, external elastic lamina, and fourth is adventitia, which is a fibrous tissue. So what happens during the initial stage is LDL, which is in the blood, is transmitted subendothelially due to high levels, either high levels or there is disturbance in the endothelium. Now this LDL gets oxidized by superoxide anions in the cells, on endothelial cells, which is a single lining structure, and they are oxidized. Now these oxidized LDL are very pro-inflammatory, and inflammation begets inflammation. That is, these oxidized LDL will make this, can you help me out? Yeah. These oxidized LDL will make endothelial cell to express these P-selectin and vasculocellular adhesion molecules, and that these molecules will attract the macrophage, which is a scavenger cell in the body, to get attached to the endothelial cells. And these are the cells which gets attached to. And this is all has been done due to secretion of cytokines. So this macrophage has now gone in the subendothelial cell, and it starts engulfing this oxidized LDL. And during this process, this nuclear NK kappa B pathway is activated, and TNF alpha, interleukin 1, interleukin 6, then colony stimulating factor, various are secreted. Further, the cytokines are secreted, and the T lymphocytes get attracted in the process, and all these P-selecting vasculocellular adhesions molecule, tissue factors, CD40 ligand and C-reactive protein come to play the role. Then the fibroblast growth factor and platelet derived growth factor is secreted, and the smooth muscle cells which are in media get transgressed in the subendothelial space, and these smooth muscle cells lay down the fibrous layer over this under the subendothelium, and what we call it as a fibrous plug, fibrous cap. And then smooth muscle cells are also converted into foam cells after some time, and these cells then there is apoptosis process. They burst out and they liberate the lipid material which is shown here inside the plaque. But after some time this process is overwhelmed and the plaque starts growing inside the lumen, and what we get is luminal narrowing on angiography. In the previous slide, these are the patients, these vulnerable plaques are most likely to be seen in acute MI or unstable angina. While there is some erosion of plaque surface thickened, healed by fibrosis, and that leads to a thickened fibrous cap, what we get in a chronic stable angina. So inflammatory markers play a role, which has been also suggested by Riedker in his Jupiter trial, that whenever there is increased LDL along with C-reactive proteins, then propensity of developing atherosclerosis is far more. Initially, nobody take cognizance of this process, and in 2003, measurement of his HS-CRP may help direct further evaluation and therapy in the primary prevention of CVD. The entire adult population should not be screened for HS-CRP for purpose of cardiovascular reassessment. This was the statement in 2003. Then 2010 they become more serious and measure CRP in apparently healthy elderly people to identify cardiovascular risk. And 2013 use of HS-CRP for stratifying. Now we stratify a person according to his level of HS-CRP as a high risk or a low risk. And this is the line diagram which I already shown. So during this process there are two pathways which get activated. One is NF-kB pathway, which is a detrimental pathway, and kynurenine pathway, which is a protective pathway. I will show you in a while why I am saying so. Before that, we have multiple targets which can be intercepted by our treatment. We have TNF inhibitors like canakinumab, we have antiplatelet drugs, we have statins, very potent, PPAR gamma, thiazolidones. So this is just a summary that statins, we have statins, ACE inhibitors, antiplatelet, PPAR gamma agonist, TNF inhibitors, they are in phase 3, then methotrexate has a role to play in inflammation, and novel targets are 3-HAA, anti-inflammatory metabolites of tryptophan metabolism, and curcumin. So kynurenine pathway is a tryptophan pathway, and in that pathway there is a liberation of 3-hydroxyanthranoic acid, which is supposed to be a very beneficial, which has a beneficial action on atherosclerosis. 3-HAA can inhibit the activation of nuclear factor Kb, activity of inducible nitric oxide synthase, and antigen independent cytokines, particularly interleukin 2, interleukin 7, and interleukin 15 stimulation. So 3-HAA has significantly changes the expression of lipid metabolism related genes. So it is has a direct effect on lipid metabolism, and these are the animal studies. No human studies are there in the literature. Then 3-HAA significantly decrease the plasma lipids by 1/3 to 2/3 levels. It has a role in inflammation, significantly reduces infiltration of CD4 and T cells in atherosclerotic lesions. Then 3-HAA significantly reduce inflammation, and there is 80% reduction in atherosclerotic lesions in the mind. So curcumin is a drug which prevents activation of NF-κB, prevents translocation of it in the nucleus, and eventually release of these inflammatory mediators which propagates the process of atherosclerosis. So curcumin has multiple role of actions. These are some of the studies that decrease the C-reactive protein and malonaldehyde, then decrease MI associated with CABG, significantly reduces serum cholesterol and increases high density cholesterol, improves left ventricular diastolic function, prevent progression of diabetic nephropathy by attenuating proteinuria, and it has beneficial effect on glucose metabolism by reducing HbA1c and HOMA index. Other promising therapies in these fields are some immunomodulatory or immunosuppressive promising therapies such as cyclosporine and colchicine, which may have benefits in CAD. Methotrexate has potential cardioprotective anti-inflammatory effects through increase in adenosine levels. Then THETIS trial will evaluate low dose of methotrexate in ST-elevation MI, as well as CIRT trial will evaluate low dose methotrexate in patients of vascular inflammation. CANTOS study will evaluate canakinumab in patients with CAD and persistently high CRP. The blockage of other potential targets such as interleukin 6 receptors, CC2 chemokine receptors, and CD20 could bring benefits in CAD. The studies are in pipeline. So in conclusion, despite optimum therapy with current drugs, still 1/3 of the low-risk individuals with 0 to 1 Framingham risk score have been known to develop atherosclerotic disease. Tackling inflammation provides the potential to improve cardiovascular outcome further. Some molecules targeting inflammations are being developed to provide the unique additions to our cardiovascular armamentarium. And though our genetic gun is loaded, though we are genetically prone to develop atherosclerotic heart disease, but the environmental factors are in our hand, and one is to control the inflammation in the process by novel therapies.